The next presentation will be on the biodiverse carbon registry. So the next speaker will be Alex Watson. He's an environmental entrepreneur, CEO at Open Forest, which was founded in 2011 as a company that operates the map-based explorer.land platform, which if you haven't seen it, you should definitely take a look, that bridges nature-based projects with funders. Explorer.land offers a unique and dynamic way to present these types of projects, telling their stories with geolocated narratives, photos, and videos on an interactive map. The platform leverages advanced remote sensing applications to offer its users an immersive and data-rich experience. Alexander's mission over the past 12 years has been to promote greater geographic transparency in nature-based projects, helping to build trust and improve engagement.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you also for the Everglobal Greening Alliance to invite us to this webinar. So you just mentioned that we are in this business now for 12, now almost 13 years. But when the project of Grupo Ecológico Sierra Gorda started, I basically was in the kindergarten. So it's a big pleasure for me, and I'm very humbled and honored to work with you. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen because there are a few things that are quite visual, and yeah, I want to share them with you. So today I'm going to present, I would say, the technical backbone of this protocol and registry, but I will also give a quick introduction from my point of view why this protocol is so outstanding. So it very much complements existing standards, so which we already mentioned. It's accessible for small to medium-sized landowners. It is local offsetting for local companies, so it's really inclusive. And I think what really stands out that the majority of the payments go to the local community and not to consultants and intermediaries. So usually these equations are reversed. So maybe 20%, 30% go to the local communities and the rest is going to intermediaries. But we need the money on the ground and not in the pockets of intermediaries. So this is a big shout out why I think this is really an important approach. So with local governments, with a local protocol, keeping the money where it's needed. And it also has the possibility not just to design one project, it has the capability to develop entire landscapes. So it's, I put the mouse here because it's for the long scale, for the long tail, for the thousands of little and medium projects which are currently not covered by these major standards. I put this slide here to just show the potential of the impact. So we're not speaking about a tiny grassroots project, we're speaking about a landscape of 380,000 hectares. So it's a huge area. It's a biodiversity hotspot that really deserves to be preserved. And the next slide I want to show you, because I want to show you also the work that has been achieved. So this is just a simple map showing in this purple color tree cover loss over the past years. And I compared this view with a look inside of the conservation area. So where you see with conservation, there's very little deforestation happening. And if you look outside the borders, you see there's a lot of deforestation happening. So this is a clear sign that local management is really working, and it's a way forward. I will quickly explain the mechanisms, so more from an administrative point of view. So in order to calculate the carbon in these locations, there are various land use types with different carbon fixing sequestration factors. Different forest types, different land use types have different fixed rates. But of course, these rates are calibrated with local measurements. So it's a quite simple and transparent approach. So per property, depending on the forest type, the carbon storage is calculated. And this makes a carbon inventory per year, so that you know for a certain land use type, for a certain treatment, there will be a certain carbon sequestration factor. This is then confirmed with on-the-ground monitoring by Salvador, for example. Yeah. And this makes up the carbon inventory, and it's put all into a system. I will not touch it in detail, but each property has a carbon inventory block per year that can be with a unique number, so that it's very clearly where the carbon is coming from. And then there's also the possibility to link these carbon inventories to companies who do offsetting. So which local companies that emit carbon, instead of paying taxes, they can buy carbon offsets from the Grupo. And then the money is going to the local communities to save the forest, and the companies could put that into their balance sheets for their financial statements towards the state. This is just one link, a view on the current registry. Already some transactions have taken place, and this is now developed towards a professional grade database. But it's not just an administration, so we also have the possibilities to add another transparency layer to it, because at the moment, first of all, we spoke about ground truthing through monitoring in the field. We have the administrative transparency, what you can see here. So, and then I will show you in a moment also the remote sensing based and quantified transparency through Earth observation mechanisms. So you see, this is an organization from the state Querétaro, and they have bought carbon credits. In this case, it's an example, 201 tons of carbon equivalent. They have these registration codes of the carbon, and then you can see the property basically where this carbon has been stored. And now I can go here and say, I want to check how is deforestation taking place in this region. So I can activate tree cover loss, and you see where tree cover loss is happening. So I showed you the example outside the reserve. The tree cover loss is really heavy. Inside, it's much lower, and there's also tree cover loss from fires or droughts or whatever. And I want to point out one example which I find quite compelling. So you see this line of deforestation that happened here. We have deforestation alerts on a weekly basis for the project, but I switch it off. And then with the help of a satellite timeline, you will be able to see, so this is status of today. So you see the deforestation or the tree cover loss here corresponding with the map, but I can go also back in time, and I can go to a time where there still was forest. And then just over time, the forest has been removed and destroyed in some places. And you can see that the deforestation locations very nicely correspond with the tree cover loss from the data. So this way, we have a high integrity of transparency through on-the-ground monitoring. We have an administrative transparency by putting it all onto a standardized database for the administrative transparency. And we have also the capabilities which all the big standards not have as a default, to go there and quantify the impact of a project. And I think that's really innovative. So we have an innovative financing mechanism, but we also have a very innovative way to administrate this local carbon protocol. And with this, I want to end, and thank you.